Well, we got another new preseason arrow launch from a manufacturer. This one's Black Eagle Arrows. So if you're unfamiliar with Black Eagle Arrows, first off, shame on you because they're arguably one of the best arrows on the market for what you're paying. That's essentially what they're known for, best bang for your buck arrow pretty much. Like I said, if you're familiar with Black Eagle, you'll know that they already have two 4mm arrows on the market, the X Impact and the Deep Impact. The Deep Impact is a higher GPI 4mm arrow and the X Impact is a super light GPI 4mm arrow. Well, with the new focused arrow, they decided to hit it right in the middle with a good solid kind of in-between GPI arrow. And they also made some other pretty cool upgrades on this arrow as well, aside from the box, which does look really freaking good, I ain't gonna lie. Obviously, it is gonna be available in a 6-pack. I believe these are gonna go for like $134.99 pre-fledged, but I wanna look at the bare shafts because I like building my own arrows, so that's what I wanna look at. If you haven't figured it out now, the reason why they call it the Focus is because it's coming with the Focus system. It's gonna be a 50 grain 3-piece system. We'll get into that in just a second, but I wanna look at that gorgeous thing right there. So they've done a couple things new with this arrow that they've never done before. It's actually got carbon weave on the back side all the way through, I guess about halfway through where the wrap is, and then it goes into roll carbon. That's something that other manufacturers have done in the past. I can't really remember which ones did it and which ones didn't, but I'm not 100% sure what you're gaining and what you're losing as far as performance, but it looks really cool. They definitely put some thought into the artwork behind this wrap and made it look extremely clean. I like that because a lot of times some of the older Black Eagle arrows were kind of cartoonish, even though, you know, that doesn't really matter as far as performance, but now this one just looks freaking sharp. The fact that they went with a clear knock, that looks really clean, and then they also went with a knock bushing that's going to help protect the back end of your shaft for you guys that don't like shooting different spots. I guess y'all are going to want to know the spines and GPIs, huh, since I talked about it. 250 spine is going to be a 10.5 GPI, 300 spine is going to be a 9.6, 350 spine is coming in at a 8.1, and a 400 spine is going to be a 7.6. Those are very common hunting weights, especially when you throw a 50 grain insert / focus system on the front of it. That's going to create some great kinetic energy, and it's just going to be a strong arrow altogether. If you saw my TikTok, which I posted before this video, I talked about this 3-piece focus system, which I'm about to go over, but what I'm going to do is actually weigh these components together to check the consistency to see if they're actually dead up 50 grains or if they're all 51, 52, or how consistent or inconsistent they actually are. But before we do that, let me show you the pieces. So after you cut and square off the front end of your focus arrow, the first thing you're going to do is install this aluminum post, which is just going to go, you're going to glue it in and wipe off your excess glue, and then you're going to come right here with this aluminum outsert that's going to sleeve over the carbon shaft. And then what holds it together, you may ask? This little bitty fella right here is what holds it all together. So essentially these two pieces go together. We're going to pretend they're already in an arrow. Then you're going to drop this little bitty screw down in there. If you shoot these arrows a lot, the screw may come loose sometimes, and all you got to do is put on a little bit of Loctite or even some string wax, and that's going to hold it together a lot better. I'm going to fire this bad girl up, and we're going to put all 3 components on at once. We'll just do 6 instead of all 12 because we don't want to be here all day. So this little set right here came in at 57.3. Oops. 57.4, so they're coming in over 50 grains, so maybe they're supposed to be 55 grains, but so far the consistency is almost 2 for 2. $57.7, 57.9. They're all pretty close so far. 1, 2, 3, 4. Got 2 more to do. 57.6. 58.3. Not great, not terrible as far as the consistency goes with the components. Let's do some basic arithmetic right here. For your average hunter who is stereotypically 29-inch draw, 70 pounds, they're going to be using a 300 spine. So if we cut it 29 inches knocked carbon times 9.6, that's going to put you at 278, and then you're going to run, we're going to say 55 grain. I was under the impression this was supposed to be a 50 grain, but it looks like it's supposed to be roughly a 55 grain focus system. And they may have told me that, and I just completely forgot. Seen me do that before. Plus 55 grains, plus your stereotypical 100 grain broadhead. That's going to put you at roughly 433, and then if you include the knock bushing, and wraps and fletchings, if you're going to go that route, we'll say roughly another 25-30 grains. So that's going to put you around the 450 to 360 grains total arrow weight. That's just a great freaking whitetail hunting, elk hunting, just killing arrow in general. So keep in mind, they also have the 100 grain focus system as well available for these arrows. So if you do want a little bit more FOC, you got that option as well. I've ran the focus system for quite a number of years. In fact, I've told people in years past that one of my favorite hunting arrows was the X Impact and a 300 spine with the 100 grain focus system. 200 grains total up front. I think it's like 14% FOC, and never, not one time did I not have the arrow stick in the ground on the other side of a pass through. So with these having a little bit more structural integrity throughout the arrow, being a thicker carbon because they're higher GPI, I mean, this is going to be a tougher arrow than the X Impact, because if you think about it, the lower GPI, the thinner the walls are. Yes, you lose a little bit FOC, but if you like to miss and hit hard stuff on accident, you might want to look at this focus arrow because it's going to be a lot tougher and stand up a lot longer.